What is up, everybody?
Hey.
Welcome back to Fishing Fridays. Scotty,
What's going on, guys?
This is episode 4, bro.
Yeah, the quarantine sessions.
We are chugging along, man. Hey, but some exciting news for everybody out there. Scott and I just got done talking. This episode should be the last episode of no real life Scotty and no fishing.
Yes, it should be. I've read several reports today that say as of the 29th, we're going to be able to be out and do stuff. So obviously this video is going to come out after the 29th.
Yes.
But when you view this video, we should already have fishing content coming your way.
This is true.
So
let
just
your friends
hold
know.
on with us.
Hold on.
Stick with us for a little bit longer.
Let your friends know that we are coming back. Coming back. No, this episode we were looking at, the schedule should fall that this should be March 5th. If it's not, we're really confusing y'all. But if this is March 5th.
June 5th.
June 5th.
Quarantine brain.
It's been one of those days. Okay, so yes, it should be June 5th, meaning June 12th is when the next episode should air, and we should have real life fishing. We're really excited. Also, Scotty doesn't know this, so Scotty is getting a first look at this. I know this video will have dropped by the time this video. We will also be teaming up with Blue Line Fishing again.
Nice. That's awesome. That's great news.
We are going to be fishing. I'm going to be going down to Indiana sometime in July. And we are going to have a part 2 of the Southern Indiana series. Me and him have worked out another time because I was supposed to go back during the spawn. We were really excited about it and did not end up working out. But Indiana is actually opening back up a little quicker than our state is. So I'm very excited to announce. Like I said, there's a whole video that's already come out. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Where we actually sit down with Blue Line and talk about how he's been doing, how Eric's been doing. But very excited about that. Excited to get back down there and do some fishing with him. He has been busy this year already, fishing a couple tournaments and been rocking the socks off of it, bro. So awesome. Very excited about that. So as you guys can tell, sometimes we're going to have to get Blue Line to come up here, and me, Scotty, and Blue Line are going to have a fish off.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool. I'd like that a lot.
Yes, but very exciting news on the channel. So kind of excited because it seems like some things are finally kind of getting back on target for where we were. A little different set of circumstances, a little different way it's going to look, but we're excited about that. So but today, so like we said, June 12th, hopefully, which is next week, we will have some fishing content. Once again, hopefully the days are correct. They should be. I double checked when all the other videos are coming out scheduled. So but no, so today, guys, we're going to talk about just why we love fishing. That was something we wanted to talk about. Scotty and I both love fishing, but what's funny is we both have very different backgrounds in fishing. We're going to talk about why we enjoy the fishing style that we fish, and why we prefer the kind of bait that we use. Because as you guys know, Scotty has used live bait in every single Fishing Friday episode. There's been Fishing Friday,
every single one,
and I do not like live bait at all. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today and why we each like each other's style, or what we like about our style, and what we think of the other person's fishing skills, because that's something we always talk about. Even though we're both very different when we fish, there's always something that each of us notice about. Like I said in one of the last episodes, like it drives me nuts. I can't catch panfish. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'll go ahead and get started with the first part, just to kind of get us rolling of why we like fishing. I've been fishing ever since I can remember. I've got pictures of me not even like being old enough to remember what was going on, of my dad helping me hold a fishing pole, and my dad's dad fished, and a lot, and my dad and him went on fishing trips every year, and that's just something that's been very near and dear to my heart. Just kind of a way of life for us guys in my household. Just I've always been fishing, and it wasn't that my dad forced me to like it, but it was something I fell in love with very quickly and decided to do. So, it's been really cool. Some stuff like me being able to tournament fish and stuff, that's just an added bonus to what I've learned so much from my dad and my grandpa. And my grandpa actually ended up passing away last year. He was very important in my walk as a man and as a fisherman. And what was really cool is that really big fish that I caught. I shared a video on it. I actually caught that 2 days after he passed away. It was definitely a really cool moment. It was a super windy day. I almost was giving up. It was so windy, and the wind stopped for about 5 minutes. And in that 5 minute span, that's when I caught that fish. It was a really cool moment. But so that's just kind of why I love fishing so much. It's one of those things where you get out and you get to kind of be by yourself. You can be with other people. It's not you have to be by yourself, but it's one of those things you can do by yourself. Just kind of relax and get away and to think. And one of the other things, I think you all know me, and Scott, for Scott too, we're both very competitive. And fishing is one of those things that really drives that competitive thing for me. That's actually why I like tournament fishing. There's some people like my dad who do not enjoy tournament fishing because of the stress of, oh man, if I don't perform well, I'm gonna lose some money. Whereas that drives me. I absolutely love it. It's frustrating when you don't catch anything, but that competitive fire I got really, the fishing really helps feed that constantly, especially now that I'm just a basketball coach, basketball seasonal. This is something that year round, just like hunting, kind of gives you that thrill you had as you were playing sports as a high schooler or college age, or even as coaching. Kind of fills that void when there's not there. But I've got tons of good memories of fishing with multiple people. We shared some of our memories in last week's episode with Scott of our favorite Fishing Friday episode moments. I've got great moments of fishing with my wife. Plenty of memories with my dad. We go fishing all the time. My dad and I are really tight. And then lots of memories of fishing with my grandpa. So it's just one of those things that as I do it, I always think back on all the good times too. It's just a great thing that I was able to do, and once again continue. And I hope that I get to continue to carry that on to my kids. My grandpa's dad, so my great grandpa fished too, and just to kind of continue that down through the family as we go. So God has opened a lot of cool doors in the last year and a half with my fishing, and continues to do that as well. So I'm very excited for that, and just see where the future takes me. But that's kind of one of those things, like a lot of people talk about the first time they went fishing or whatever. Like, I don't even remember that. It's just kind of something I grew up doing. So like I said, kind of a way of life for me. But that's the best way I can sum it up. It's kind of hard to come up with words of something. Scotty and I've talked about this before, when you've been doing something for so long that it's kind of hard to put it into words, because it's just kind of something you do. It's in your DNA. So
it's kind of a part of you.
Yes. And so I'm very blessed to have had a dad and a grandpa that helped instill that DNA in me, because I would definitely encourage anybody out there who hasn't been fishing or is thinking about it, or maybe is a new fisherman, to stick with it. Something else I love about fishing is that, and I'm sure Scott will agree with me, especially on the tournament scene, or when I go with my dad, we get up crack of dawn and we're out there like as soon as the sun's kind of coming up. You see so much nature and just the beauty of nature around you. Deer that are getting drinks, the sun rising and stuff like that, and those are things that on a normal day you miss, unless you live on a farm like I do. You see it just about 3 or 4 times a week. But for some people, even depending where you live, you don't get to see that. But when you get to go fishing and you're out on the water, you see it every day, and it's awesome to see that, just to watch the sunrise and kind of creation wake up, or nature wake up, because it's kind of funny as the birds start chirping and stuff starts moving, that just to kind of watch that transformation. But that's something else too. It's awesome and it's rewarding. I know it's sometimes when you're like, man, that guy wants to go fishing at 6 a.m. Trust me, it's worth it every single time. So
exactly.
All right, Sky, I'm going to turn it over to you. Let us fill us in, buddy.
So, I mentioned it in an early Fishing Fridays video. I don't remember if it was 1 or 2. I believe it was 2, because we were at the pond out at the camp. But my uncle actually got me into fishing. My dad, not to say my dad doesn't like the outdoors, but we just never went fishing really, that I can remember. We might have, but my earliest memories of fishing are with my uncle Shane. Um, and he's taught me everything I know about fishing came from him. And so, I love being out on the water. I'm not a huge boat guy. I like to sit on the bank and relax, and it's a therapeutic thing for me. Uh, Not to get too deep, some of you don't, I've never shared this on the channel, but I struggle with anxiety and depression. And it's a very therapeutic thing to get. It lets me get out and clear my head, and just focus on one thing. My mind is always going a million miles a minute with so many different things going on. And when I'm fishing, I can focus on one thing and one thing only. And it really helps me, connect with creation and connect with God. And, so it's been very therapeutic for me over the last few years. Um, and I mean, yeah, there's that competitive nature there too. I mean, it's fun to go out and have fun competitions with your friends. Or I've personally never done tournament fishing. I don't really see myself ever doing tournament fishing, but I do like going out and having friendly competitions, or even just little personal competitions with yourself, or trying to get this many fish in this amount of time or something like that. I just it does help. It is therapeutic, and of course there's the adrenaline of the chase there when you've got a fish on and you're trying to reel it in. Um, but honestly, mainly it's so therapeutic for me. It really is, to just be able to sit out, even when I'm by myself, just to relax and just take it in. Like you said, seeing, watching the sunrise and then just watching creation, and getting to, take these gifts that God has given us, and use them. So, um, that's why I love fishing.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to get super deep there, but that's just what it is. I mean, that's who I am. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to,
Yep.
so.
Yep. I've never opened up about it either, but Scott and I have actually, we've known each other, oh man, for 4 years now.
Yep.
Seems like we've known each other a lot longer, but 4 years. We were both in each other. We were both in each other's weddings. This guy means a lot to me, and what's funny is I'd actually been thinking about doing a video about this in the future, and Scott brought up anxiety and depression. We've actually both helped each other through that. We've both had some experiences that have caused that in our lives, and once again, we've been able to be there for each other, but also our Savior and some other things like fishing and been able to help us through and help us do things like that. But I love, like you said, like.
There you
Hello?
go.
Oh, I lost you, dude.
Yeah, you froze up on me for a second.
Oh, dang. Yeah, I have really bad Wi-Fi here. It sucks. I always have to apologize for that in some of the videos. But yeah, but like I said, it's awesome, like Scotty said, about like creation and just something Scott and I have talked about more as we've gotten a little older and been in different parts of life. Me living on the farm, I've learned that creation never stops. Nature never sleeps. Certain animals may go to sleep, but you'll stick your head out at night out here, and there's a whole different crew of animals that are moving around and talking. But it's just kind of cool to see the side of nature that we see every day because we're awake at the same time, wake up, basically. And it's very interesting because there are days where my dad and I'll get on the water and it's almost dead quiet. The birds aren't even really chirping yet. So definitely a fun time. Definitely a cool part of it. But like we said, and once again, that's the thing. Scott and I are like, I mean, we're like blood. We're like brothers, and it's funny how two people so close can be so different because I am all about the chase and where this bass is or where it might be sitting and where they are and what's the temperature and what's the water and the barometer and all that. And I think there's some days where Scott, I'll start talking about that stuff, and Scott's just looking at me like, you are the biggest idiot in the face of the planet. Get a hook and a worm and drop it in front of these fish and just catch one. Because I'm sitting there checking the weather, and Scott's like, dude, can we just start fishing already? I mean, and I'm sitting there checking water pressure and when
either
it's
that or I'm already fishing.
This is true. Yes.
He'll sit there and set up, and you guys don't see it a lot because you get an edited version of the video where we're catching fish. But 9 times out of 10, I'll set up a spot and he'll spend like 10 minutes setting up poles.
This is
and
true.
I've already been fishing for like 10 minutes just because I know, like,
I think there's days too where Scott thinks I'm full of crap and just talking stuff because I'll show up and be like, oh, dude, they're going to bite that red, blue crawdad. And he's like, what are you talking about? Oh, they're going to bite it, man. And he's like, you don't have that set up, do you? I'm like, nope, I'm going to go set it up right now, though. But I will say this, every time I've said that so far, luckily, knock on wood, before we get started, I actually have delivered. At least it may not be a win, but it's just been one fish on what I said.
Yeah. Inevitably, he's found the one fish that does want that bait he was talking about.
Yes. So we hope this maybe inspired some of you, or some of you that are thinking about fishing or that have just started, and kind of like why we do it. And I mean, I've been doing it for 20 something years. Scott's probably pretty close to. I mean, he's been doing it for a long time. So, and I'm never going to stop. I know that, whether it's on a tournament scene or not. I mean, I've always told my wife, whether I fish tournaments or not, I'll always be fishing. So, definitely want to get a boat one day. Once again, that's where Scott and I are different. I'm very much a boat guy. I love being on a boat and getting to kind of power around the body of water and find some places. But once again, I'm just glad people are watching these videos, man. I mean,
yeah,
when we kicked this off, I mean, a year ago, just over a year ago, we started Fishing Fridays. Neither of us had any idea that this was going to become what it has become, where these are our best performing videos. If anything, we both looked at each other and said, well, let's just go out and mess around. And if it turns into something, it turns into something. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't. But these videos have definitely outperformed any other video we put out there, man. And I got to say, a lot of that has to be Scotty, in my opinion. But that's the only ingredient missing from all the other videos I put out there. So, guys, we are glad you guys have tuned in. I know that not just with Fishing Fridays, but everything else in the video, Scott and I were talking about this the other day too, it has not been ideal. It has been different. It is not at all what we expected going into this year. But I'm glad. I was telling Scott and my wife, the response we've had even on the quarantine life videos has been awesome. And just the support we've been getting from everybody, whether it's a Fishing Friday video or any video. And I know this is definitely not what people want to see when they tune into an outdoors channel or a Fishing Friday episode. They want to see us actually fishing. But I think, I'm once again knocking on wood, I think we have gotten through the worst of it probably, and that we are on the up and up as a nation, but also in the fact that we're going to get to go fishing here really, really quick. So Scott and I are hoping that the next episode is fishing. I'm hoping here in about a week that I'm going to be gearing up to fish with Scott, because I think the 29th is a Friday, dude. Oh, it is, my guy. Oh, yeah.
I mean, we'll have to see. It just depends. We might be moving some stuff.
Yes.
So it just
yes.
But definitely in the near future.
Yes. We got a lot of time. But I'm excited about that. Like I said, I haven't seen my buddy in 2 months. It's been that long already, dude.
Been a long time.
Whew-wee. But guys, I think that's where we're going to wrap up the video. Like I said, I feel bad we kind of talked in circles, but I'm just hopefully kind of giving you guys a glimpse into some of the things we enjoy when we're out on the water, or filming an episode, kind of some of the things that keep us going besides the fact that we're fishing.
Yes,
but Sky, you got any closing comments?
Yeah. Before we go, I know I talked about earlier how I struggle with depression and anxiety. I know I'm not alone in that. I know there's a lot of people all over the world that struggle with that. And I know that with all this quarantine stuff going on and these stay-at-home orders and having to stay home and not being able to get out, I know that a lot of times those can get worse. So if that is you, I mean, if you're struggling, please just reach out, find something. Find that thing that brings you some kind of joy, something healthy to pour into. So
yes,
you're not alone. We see you, we love you. That's all I got. Peace, guys.
Yeah, Scott, and to add to that real quick, Scott, Scott and I've had this discussion a lot as we both worked through each other's battles and being there for each other. Something that I heard in a sermon that my dad preached not too long ago. Just because you struggle with this, that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. I think some people feel that. I actually went on medication for a long time to help me get through my battle, and I think there's a lot of times where people feel like that means that they're weak or that there's something wrong with them. And some of the greatest signs of strength can be going and getting help instead of fighting it alone. I've always had to. My wife is very stubborn and likes to do things by herself, and I've always had to tell her there's nothing wrong with asking for help. And there's nothing wrong with asking help for this either. And once again, Scott said, reach out to anybody. If you need somebody to talk to, please find somebody, open up to people. I know it can be hard to talk to your parents about stuff like this, but right now, just like with these quarantine and stay-at-home orders, how it can be hard on people, and just make things stressful. This is also a great time to talk to your parents or somebody that you trust. This time where you do have time and it's not going to be in the hustle bustle of normal everyday life. So guys, we are so glad you guys have tuned in. We care about each and every one of you, even though we've never met any of you guys. And once again, if there's anybody out there struggling, just know that you are not alone. There's nothing wrong with you. You are not weak. In fact, you are very strong, because the strongest people ask for help and look for help. So guys, we're glad. We'll hopefully see you guys next week. Same time, same day. #Fishing Fridays. Share these videos. Guys, we'll see you next time. Peace.
See ya. Peace out.